Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I am David Kalema from Hope and Beyond, a treatment and rehabilitation center for people with alcohol and drug use problems. But I also do some work with the World Health Organization and Ministry of Health. I will let you know a little bit about that later. But I am not a medical doctor. Let me first make that clear. I am an academic doctor. I did a PhD specializing in treatment of alcohol use disorders. I'm so happy to be here. I have been in treatment for about 20 years. I am an old boy of St. Peter's SS. St. Peter's, oh yeah. Come on, vibe.
St. Peter's, are you in the room?
Vibe.
Your OB is doing a lot of work.
Yes.
Can we give the vibe? St. Peter's, oh yeah? Okay.
Okay. So, I would like to talk about the symptoms of drug use. Incidentally, I think I need part of the presentation here with me, so let me first look for it. Thank you very much, Drugs Africana, for inviting us. Thank you very much, Anne, for doing this. We are also partners. I think you've seen that Hope and Beyond is there. We're also partners in this, and we've been part of this campaign since the beginning when it started. So I know that you've already looked at what drug abuse is, and I won't go into it, and addiction. I hope you know very well by now what that means. I also hope that you have seen the different drugs that young people are using. Yeah? You know them. Because I had some of you on CBS teaching others. And I was impressed at how much you know on drugs. So the slide there just helps to summarize what you already know. And maybe to show you that some drugs don't work the same way. Some hype, some sedate, some kill the pain, some distort senses. Those that distort senses are known as hallucinogens. Those that kill the pain are known as narcotics or opioids. Then those that sedate are the depressants and stimulants. And you can see that I put example there. And I hope that you also know that no one is born an alcoholic or a drug. They use the word drug addict. We no longer use that. We say drug user. No one is born, and no one ever say, when I want to grow up, I want to be a drug user. But they grow into stages. They start by experimenting, then they start using regularly, then it becomes a habit, then it becomes an addiction. So the first stage is not to experiment. It's beautiful. So, some people experiment and they don't like the taste. I've just heard from Mr. Rogers Kasiria. When he tried to experiment, he didn't like the taste. I share that also. When I tried to experiment with beer, it didn't make any meaning to me. I said it's not worth it. Some of you experiment and you don't like the taste and you force yourself to go back. Eventually you start liking the taste, and before you know it, you are hooked. But if you don't experiment, you remain clean. I am about 50 years now. I'm about to make 50 years. But people say sometimes I look like I'm 40 or even 30. Eh? Yes. I find very many people with 30 years and their head is full of gray hair. The face is completely wrinkled. They are walking like old men and old women, and many times there is alcohol involved. If you want to grow very fast, you drink alcohol. Yes, you will grow very fast. Okay. Now, let me look at the signs and symptoms Now, first of all, how do we know that a person has developed what we call a drug use disorder? When they are failing to fulfill their main obligations. It's time for class, you cannot go to class. It's time for teaching, you cannot go to teach. Sorry, teachers, I have to mention this to you also. For you teachers who are here, you are very good, but there are some of your colleagues there who like the bottle very much. And they cannot teach unless they have taken something. They go to the class, and most of the front benchers leave the place what? Drunk, because the teacher is steaming what? Alcohol. And you children, you are our future teachers. You don't want to be that kind of teachers. You want you to be like the teachers who are in this room. But one of the symptoms of addiction is failure to regulate. Yourself, failure to do something you are supposed to do unless you have tested. Continued use despite social interpersonal problems. You use at home, they chase you away from home, they beat you, at school they suspend you. I have counseled people who have changed schools every term, and the reason they are changing is because of this. So that is the category of social impairment. We have a category of impaired control. You start using large amounts over a longer period than intended. You start with 1 bottle, then 2, then 3, then 4. You say, today I'm going to drink only 1. You find yourself drinking 5. Desire to regulate. Some of you are there, you are saying, I think I should stop smoking. You know, sometimes you think you are too smart. They can't find you. Then people start saying, unya cigara, you know what? They start calling in disciplinary. Say, let me. The moment you start saying, I need to regulate, it means that you are near addiction. Craving. If you've ever seen a dog, the way it pants around midday with the tongue out, someone, you know, you get that kind of feeling whenever you are not taking that drug. You crave. You feel there's nothing that can lift you, that can help you apart from. Spending a great deal of time obtaining the substance, all the time you are thinking, where am I going to get this? Actually, when you see someone with a drug use problem or an alcohol use problem, you'll find bottles all over. You find bottles in their bedrooms. You find bottles in their sitting rooms, in the fridge, in kitchen, in the car, office, in the toilet. They are preoccupied. When they're thinking of a function, the first thing they're thinking about is, what alcohol are we going to drink? We are going to massacre. You are thinking, what are the stopovers for refueling? Okay? So, this is what I mean by preoccupation. You see this young man here, he's studying, yeah? He's thinking about sports, family, food, exercises, work, friends. But now he has started experimenting. Then it progresses. You see, now you have more time in his mind to think about the substance. Where will I pick my joint? Where will I pick my stick? Where will I smoke? But he's still doing these things, but he's actually progressing. See how level 3 turns out. Now he's addicted. Everything else has been replaced. Nothing else matters to you. Grades no longer matter to you. The quality of your relationships with your dad, family, where no one matters. It is just the gangsters that you are drinking or drugging with. It's just those people who support your drug use that are going to matter. And everyone else is speaking nonsense. They don't like you or something like that. Let's look a little bit of what happens inside where we don't see. Some of those things I've said, we see them. But what about those areas where we don't see? We are seeing 2 examples there. of our internal organs. We are seeing the internal organ known as a lung and another one known as a liver. And you can see how the health one looks and how the one that is suffering from use. Now, you find that someone with a drug use problem, they will use even in physical hazardous situation. We used to have COVID, but you remember how guys used to lock themselves inside the what? Inside the bars. They even, you know the song, City Corona, City, I know you know. City Corona. They lock themselves inside. They know you need social distancing. They know you need to do SOPs. Hazardous. They know they are going to be arrested, but they don't mind. You know you are escaping from school. It is risky. It's not allowed. You can be you can be expelled, but you still do it. Persistent use in spite of physical or psychological problems. You know, when a person smokes, they stain their lungs. The way you see that lung, there is a substance that comes from smoke. It's known as tar. I think you've heard of tarmac. Tarmac is a substance that is used to make roads. It's a black substance. So that same substance is produced when a person smokes and stains your lungs. And many times you'll get things like smoker's cough. That dry cough, a person smokes endlessly. Now, people smoke, they get cancer. People drink, they get liver cirrhosis. But even when they are told you have to stop drinking, they cannot. They are already hooked. They are addicted. Do you know that addiction or alcohol use and mainly drugs can lead to depression? And depression is a leading cause of suicide. So we'll have many people ending up to the point of committing suicide, and they say, I would rather die, but I won't give up. This is the last. This is my last slide because I was told I only have 10 minutes. And I'm very passionate about this, so I can take the whole day. So thank God they only give me 10 minutes. We have what we call the pharmacological criteria, tolerance, needing to use more of a substance to get the same effect. At first, you used to take one bottle and that was enough for you. You felt high enough. You used to take one joint of marijuana and that was enough. Then time comes when one is no longer enough. You need 2, you need 3, you need 4. That is what we call tolerance. You continually poison your body, and now your body needs more to maintain its stability. You've seen some people, when they are not drunk, that is when they fail to perform. That's when they are abnormal. And when they are drunk, that's when they feel that they are normal. So don't start hyping people who are taking 5, 6, 7, 8 bottles of beer and say, oli wakabi. Nowadays we used to say oli wakabi, oli wanyo, oli wadala. These days I don't know what you use. You know, these guys at St. Peter's have disappointed me a little bit. For us we used to have vibe. So oli wakabi, bwana, oli wanyo, oli wadala, oli vumbi, oli chali, oli dala. I don't know what's happening these days. Those words that you tell people, or either at one, because they are taking 5 bottles, they are taking a crate. You know, these days, you go to a bar, they put like a whole crate before a person, and they do what they call binge drinking, and you think that you are really a man because you can take all of them, but actually you are sick. You are very sick. Finally, withdrawal signs and symptoms. Withdrawal signs and symptoms. You don't need to do much to know someone who has an alcohol use disorder, a drug use disorder. Give them a pen like this and ask them to hold it up for 10 seconds. They can't do it. It will be like this. Like this. They're already trembling unless if they have already taken something. The moment they take, so we have trembling, we have shaking. I think it's the same. They will fail to drink, they will fail to have appetite. They will fail to sleep. They will fail to. They will start seeing things that are not there. You start, you know, if you go and sleep and maybe you've not taken something, that's when you get bad dreams. Lions are chasing you, you are falling in a pit, and you know, snakes are walking all over you, you are sick. And then people, you start saying, sometimes you can even see these things during the day. And when people are like, oh, how you senga utakwagala tagalira ddala osome ola sengawo bwakuloga. Now you see what you are seeing. You are seeing snakes. When a teacher goes to teach you, for you are seeing a snake. You are seeing a lion. Empewo zitukoze bubi nnyo. Kumbe you are actually withdrawing from what? So I hope that someone will teach you on how to help someone with an addiction problem. I know that Butabika is here and they are going to help us to know how we treat people with alcohol use disorders. But I think this is the end of my presentation. My contacts are there. And also we have a table there with a counselor. I have a counselor and someone who has been through whatever I have been telling you. There is a young man there, Amanya Joram. Can you wave to these people? How old are you, Amanya? 29. He has had a long history of struggling with addiction. And all these things I've talked about, including the mental issues, he has had them. But thank God, he graduated just last week. He got a degree in what? Water resource engineering. You see, the country was going to lose a water resource engineer because of substance use. So Amanya is here. You could be having the same problem. You could be having a brother, a sister, a father, someone with a similar problem. He's not proud that he was using, but he's here to share with you on a one-on-one his story of recovery. Maybe he can inspire you out of the problem, or he can prevent you from getting into a problem. Thank you very much.